The top two teams in the NFC South battle on ESPN's Monday Night Football as Matt Ryan leads the Falcons into the Big Easy to take on Drew Brees and the 6-0 Saints. It's Falcon Saints on ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 7 Eastern Time. And with 66 laps to go at Talladega, the leader was Kyle Busch. Ryan Newman has just shot past him on the outside. We'll see if Newman's able to hold that lead at the start-finish line. Our aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. New Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. Calculate your savings at GoodyearTires.com. Newman in the Army car on the outside. Kyle Busch in the M&Ms. And who's going to get it at the stripe? That would have been Newman's race if that were the last lap. And that's the kind of action Talladega is known for, and we're expecting to see over these final 65 laps. Couple quick thoughts from down here in the pit studio. First of all, the racing has changed here recently.
The racing has definitely changed. You can see they're starting to get a little impatient right now, but also they're trying to figure out what their car will do and if it will do it. Can they get from the back to the front? You see them lining up three wide right now. Ryan Newman leading the race. You see Elliott Sadler behind him right there. A lot of guys are checking out what their old hot rods do, and right now they're all handling well, guys. They know their cars handle good because this track is smooth, a lot of grip. Now, will the engine run? Can they get it up to the front?
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit more of that 3 and 4 wide racing that we're accustomed to, and it's been interesting. It's been pretty dicey back from mid-pack back. Guys up front seem very comfortable where they're at. They're just trying to pick their spots, bite about 30 more laps out of this thing, and then they'll really get after it.
Yeah, positioning for the end, and what we're seeing here is this type of racing today is providing some opportunities for guys that we don't normally see up front, like Elliott Sadler and David Stremme, giving those guys a good opportunity to get some airtime.
Yep.
Talladega, always a place where upsets are a possibility. Remember, Jimmy Johnson continues to motor around at the back of the field in 33rd spot. And Doc, DJ, and Andy, we haven't seen the big wreck yet.
I was just going to say that, Alan. Yeah, that as if we're not going to see one. Let's hope we can get by without it here, but they are starting to mix it up. And how about the 9 car? What a job by Casey Kane. He has been back to the front. I mean, damage on the car. They repaired it 2 tire stops. And now look where Casey's being shown right now in 7th position.
Yeah, that team's done a great job, and Casey has to stay in there. But Kenny Francis, the crew chief on this car, they decided to just get 2 tires when they made that pit stop and work on that fender and get the car back in shape. And they've done a good job and kept the car in contention. He's in the top 10. Well, he was, now he's 11th. He was the last lap. That's changing by the second. There's Kenny Francis.
It's going to change very quickly as Kenny watches, and you do as well. This pack right here, DJ, 31 cars all running together right here on the lead lap, all clustered in one little group.
Yeah, and I'm watching the middle here. I see David Stremme leading that. He's got Brad Keselowski right on his bumper. They're making some headway in the center. That's something these guys will be paying attention to also for later in the race.
Speaking of 31,
yeah, they better be paying attention right now, too. Not that they just have to later in the race. There's Jeff Burton leading this show.
How big would a win be for Richard Childress Racing? They have not gotten a win in that team across their 4 cars in the entire 2009 season.
Oh, it'd be huge. This is a great place to get it done, too.
Well, look at that squadron of fighter planes, 3 wide there, just lined up about 12 deep.
Now, I think these guys have used a lot of this. See Jeff Gordon pull out now. He's got help from Kevin Harvick right behind him, trying to go back to the front. These guys have used a lot of this first part of the race to see with these new rules as to what they can do and how they have to go about this new drafting. And I think they're getting a little more comfortable with everything. And I found it interesting, Dale Jr. said, as we talked to him before the race started, this takes us back 7 to 8 years ago as the way that you used to have. We didn't run into each other in the corners back then. You had to literally draft and use what you could. And so I think it's interesting. A lot of these guys didn't know what that was like, and now they're finding out.
We talk about how critical communications is. The 11 of Hamlin and the 18 of Kyle Busch. Listen in.
Denny, if we get clear again, you want to get up? Yeah, I was hoping you were going to do it there before they got to us. If you go, I can follow. So if you're clear, get up. I'll follow with my mirror. All right, if I get a hole, I'll squeeze out and let you in. Let me do it off of 4 because we got a longer way we can push than the front stretch.
That was about 3 laps ago, as now Kyle is right up there with Jeff Burton in that pack, and he backs off just a little bit. That was a few laps ago. They were on the bottom groove. They've now moved to the high groove, and his teammates, they can see what they can do, but they're back in the pack now.
you know what I see going on right now? They're pushing this issue a little. They're pushing each other a little bit in the corners, a lot on the straightaway, and NASCAR's not letting them, not saying much to them. They're letting them get away with it and race, and they're putting on a great show right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing is I think that NASCAR, they're not running into each other, and I think they've gotten the message across. They're not, you know, even though they might be right there on the bumper, they're not hitting each other in the corner to create big problems.
Yet.
Here at Talladega, we just mentioned we have not had the big one. Hopefully we won't, but typically Talladega, the big one is multi-car crashes. And look at the 2-car looking back. There's a little bump. There is Tony Stewart.
Yeah, I saw Tony drop back just a minute ago. I think he's kind of checking out exactly how far back he can be and how long it takes him to go to the front.
That 2 and the 44 are fighting to get the lucky dog the free pass. 44 will be coming in. Kurt Busch was 2 laps down because of that cut right rear tire, now showing himself only a lap down, and he would be the car that would get the free pass because Allmendinger now in the pits. Jeff Gordon led the last time by. He backed out, and now Kevin Harvick again at the front of the field. 102 races ago. That's the last time Kevin Harvick went to victory lane. Laps clicking away here in the Amp Energy 500 NASCAR Sprint Cup Season Series race at Talladega Superspeedway. Laps are clicking down, and so is the points lead for Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy hovering in the back of the pack in 33rd position, and folks across the top of your screen, take a look. The points lead right now, it is Jeff Gordon in second spot, less than 60 points back. You see Jimmy Johnson there at the back of the pack.
Yep, just sticking to his plan right now. We'll see how that works out. We won't know until the end of this race, lap 188, how that worked for him all day. We've got a lot of great racing up front. Right now being led by David Stremme, doing a fantastic job out front.
Jimmy riding in the back of the pack. Now, we told you since the chase began in 2004, take a look at the percentage of crash probability. You see who has the highest crash probability percentage here at Talladega? It is the points leader and 3-time champion Jimmy Johnson, almost 64%, 7 wrecks in 11 starts here at Talladega. Dave.
And guys, Jimmy Johnson said Chad Knaus, crew chief, and I didn't talk a lot about this race until just recently, but it was kind of like the 300-pound gorilla in the room. We knew it was there. We knew we'd have to address it at some point. And they spent an hour and a half on the phone on Thursday just kind of going over things and going over things and going over things. And you know what they came up to at the end? We really can't control what happens out here today. Let's just try not to lose those points, and at the end of the race and see what we get.
Thank you, Dave. Chad Knaus looking on very pensively, and Jimmy Johnson, he looked up our analyst, Dale Jarrett, because, Dale, you were very good at being able to know what to do here to get a good finish. Your last win came at Talladega. And, DJ, what did you and Jimmy talk about?
Just a number of different things. And I don't know if I was good at it or if I was just luckier than most people. I think that had a lot to do with it. But, you know, we just talked a lot of different scenarios. When was the right time to go? You know, and how hard it is to be patient, because it is something that's difficult to do. As we see great racing up front here, but Jimmy just wanted to kind of know exactly how I went about things, and you know, he's doing a great job. If I had to tell him right now, though, I think if he's actually going to employ this strategy, he's up there a little bit too close for my liking. I would hang out a little bit further back in case something does happen, because he'd have a hard time getting stopped right now.
Look at the top 5 right now at Talladega. David Stremme looking for a job in 2010. He's out of this car. The 07, Casey Mears, maybe looking for a ride. This car looking for sponsorship for next year. Brad Keselowski will be going in the 12 car. He won it back in spring. Clint Boyer has not won this year, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. has not won since last spring at Michigan. These 5 guys desperate to get to victory lane.
Yeah, where everywhere else we've seen a lot of chase drivers up in the top 10, we've got one in the top 11 right now. Of course, that changes with about every straightaway and every corner. Brad Keselowski doing a great job. We didn't see much of him until he won that race here back in April. Vince?
That's right. In fact, he was the 10th different driver to score his first ever Cup win here at Talladega when he scored that victory in April, and he's running back up front right now too. He says it's too soon to make a move, but he feels like the car's pretty good. He wishes he could run the bottom groove, but right now he's stuck up top. Says the car's got a little bit too much push to run comfortably up there. They'll look at fixing that on that final stop if they get an opportunity.
It is the same car he won with back in the spring here, Vince, and they have Hendrick horsepower. So now he moves right up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., another Hendrick car.
Here comes the Childress cars right there. Nose to tail, the 07 of Casey Mears and Clint Boyer in that 33.